What is up, guys? Delboy here. Finally, we have some positive news out of the welterweight division. It's looking like the PBC are trying to make a unification fight between Errol Spence Jr. and Shawn Porter, and also a fight between Thurman and Manny Pacquiao. In my opinion, these are two excellent fights for the division, and I believe they are fights we are in desperate need of, to be quite honest. I mean, a lot of people always say how great the welterweight division is. For such a great division, we've kind of been disappointed by the lack of fights that have been made. Yes, we've had Thurman versus Danny Garcia. Yes, we've had Shawn Porter versus Thurman, Shawn Porter versus Danny Garcia. But for me, the division hasn't really been delivering on a consistent basis. We've had Thurman out for long periods of time. Errol Spence just fought a lightweight. Danny Garcia is not really active. Shawn Porter again the same, not really that active. As for Terence Crawford, it looks like he's being frozen out by the PBC. So yeah, all in all, the division hasn't really been consistent in delivering the fights we want to see, minus the odd fight here and there. So news of Errol Spence Jr. versus Shawn Porter in a unification fight, and news of Manny Pacquiao versus Thurman makes me really excited. These are fights I really want to see. These are fights that other fans want to see. Thurman versus Manny Pacquiao, in my opinion, is a really interesting fight. Thurman didn't look himself against Josecito Lopez after a long layoff. He showed glimpses of his old self, but he looks kind of vulnerable. And Manny Pacquiao looked fairly good, despite being 40 against Adrian Broner. So Pacquiao versus Thurman, in my opinion right now, is a very interesting matchup. And Shawn Porter versus Errol Spence, it's a unification fight. Don't get me wrong, I make Errol Spence Jr. a big favourite, but Shawn Porter at his very best, he can give trouble to anybody in that division. So that's a tough task for Errol Spence Jr. and also an interesting style clash. So yeah, I'm receptive to both fights. I'm really interested in both fights. I hope both fights get made. They are talking about Manny Pacquiao versus Thurman in July, and they are talking about Errol Spence versus Shawn Porter in September. And if these two fights come off, then hopefully the winner of each fight fights each other, and then we'll have a unified welterweight champion. We'd have a welterweight who would hold 3 of the major 4 titles, which is a good look. That's what needs to happen. The PBC have all of these guys. Let's get these guys fighting each other. No need to stick around, no need to wait. Get these guys fighting each other, and let's see who comes out on top. Us, the fans, will be the winners, and that's my main concern. But also the guy who does come out on top will be in a very good position. He would hold 3 of the 4 major titles, and his star power will be greater than it is now. For me, these fights are obvious, they need to be made, and the PBC should actually kind of sell this as a mini tournament. Thurman versus Pacquiao, Spence versus Porter, and then have the winners fight each other. An in-house tournament that involves 3 of the 4 major titles. I think it makes a lot of sense, and that's the way it should go down. Is it going to go down that way? It's boxing, so probably not. So let's just hope we get these 2 fights first, and we can worry about the winners fighting each other down the line. But I am really excited by the prospect of these 2 fights. Let's hope they get made. And I'm all for these fights. Share your thoughts below. What do you make of these potential fights? Who do you see winning them? Share your thoughts below. Peace.